On Madison Avenue in Northwest Baltimore,
I knew he was sick,
the sun is fighting to shine through dark clouds.
but I didn't know it was that serious.
I didn't know how grave it was, so I was in shock.
As the wind carries the leaves away,
To get this news, my God.
neighbors remember a man they say was larger than life.
Anybody who knew him know that he was a very humble man, and if he could help you, he would.
He was a straightforward type person, straight, no chaser, no ice.
A man who put the city he loved first.
He lived here in Baltimore, he worked for Baltimore, and he loved this city. And he knew that the challenges that it had, and you can honestly say to the day he died, he gave his life to Baltimore and to the nation.
There's no denying Elijah Cummings left his mark.
He did a lot of great things, trying to cut crime down, the violence and things like that, as well as helping young people get jobs.
Just minutes away, outside the late Congressman's Baltimore office,
And his loss is going to be very hard to replace.
the flag flies at half-staff as music fills the silence.
He was very much an advocate of the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra.
It's not a typical show, or even a show at all, for a few Baltimore Symphony Orchestra members, but rather a chance to say thank you.
We really loved him and really appreciated everything that he did. He defended the city as appropriate, and it just made us a little bit more empowered, proud to be residents of Baltimore.
Our country really needs people like him in the world who walk through the world with grace and integrity, and he certainly was all of that.
All of that,
He definitely cared about Baltimore.
and so much more. As buses came and went as usual at Penn and North Wednesday morning, the conversation was anything but.
They say she faced up to 100 years? Wow. Well, now I'm spelling book.
It's just sad.
Wow, I can't believe that. I really can't.
While many had already heard the news, former Mayor Catherine Pugh was indicted on 11 federal charges.
Everybody has their day in court. She got to get hers.
Others
Oh my God!
were just finding out.
Oh yes, I'm surprised. Because she's supposed to be a goody too.
The charges, including wire fraud and tax evasion, came as a shock.
I was surprised because I thought it was just about the books. That's why she stepped down. You know what I mean? I didn't know that it was, other stuff as well.
Some showed sympathy.
It's a sad and unfortunate situation and sad and unfortunate circumstances.
We all make mistakes, even the ones up high.
Others, not so much.
She got caught with her hand in the cookie jar, She ain't want one cookie, she wanted them all.
But it's disappointment that was a shared feeling among many.
She was supposed to be somebody who's supposed to be trusted. We all voted for her, and she let us down.
It's another black face that's faced with this, and it's sad because it's a bad look for us as a race and as a community, and we just got to do better.
Better.
Gotta be strong, that's all I gotta say.
For the future of Baltimore.
Yeah, I hope whoever take and fill her shoes and the next person to step in office, that they will do better for our communities, for our children.
A three-volley salute. And the mournful sound of taps echoed through Baltimore National Cemetery. Those 24 notes. A feeling.
We all experience two deaths. The first, when breath leaves our body for the last time.
A sign today that a veteran is being laid to rest.
The second, when our name and our story are told for the last time. It is this second death that we are committed to ensuring never happens with our veterans.
Hundreds filled the cemetery to pay their respects to 74-year-old Army Captain Philip Brown.
U.S. Army Captain, Vietnam War veteran.
We're here to support a fallen veteran.
A man no one there really knew.
Did not have any family.
Nobody should have to be buried without family, especially a veteran.
And no veteran, especially Alan Noger, would ever allow it.
We served together in the hard times, and we were there at the beginning, we were there at the end. And it's our way of saying farewell, return to base. It's amazing.
Alan watched the military honors with pride.
50 years ago, we were getting off planes in California, and people throwing eggs at us and whatnot. And here we are.
A moment he thought he'd never see.
A whole different world.
Sitting front row, another moment unfolded for Arthur Simon.
I never expected this.
He's the only man there who knew Brown.
I would meet Phil up at McDonald's in Haverty Grace.
They weren't best friends.
We would just, talk there. Nothing in great detail.
But they did look out for each other. And in the end, it was Arthur who knew something had happened to Philip.
When I saw those Amazon boxes building up on his porch, I thought I ought to alert the police, and it wound up that he had passed.
Philip's military burial flag was presented to Arthur.
Captain Philip Lynn Brown.
I never thought that I'd get a flag for anybody. And so, yeah, there's quite a special thing. And as I say, they tucked 2 bullets inside it, too.
And with a final salute, strangers quietly watched. Because as it turns out, Philip, a man who served his country with pride.
I was thinking he's got to be up there, smiling from ear to ear, because he was very proud to serve.
Had a whole lot of family, after all.
They said there was no family. He's part of a bigger family.
Maxine Streicher.
So we all show up for that.
Fox 45 News. Inside Stebbins Anderson, happiness fills the air.
Oh, I'm picking up a few Christmas things.
Be able to print your receipt.
As gifts fill busy shoppers' baskets.
Thank you.
They're shoppers who have been coming to the home goods store for as long as they can, or can't remember.
Gee, it's been so long, I can't count the years.
More than 35 years.
It's a Towson institution loved by so many.
You could always come here and
10831, please.
Get somebody to help you that actually knew what they were talking about.
But now,
devastated.
I'm sad, I'm grieving.
After 152 years in business,
I thought it was a joke when they first said they were closing.
Stebbins Anderson is saying goodbye.
It's the end of an era.
We go back to Baltimore City, actually when Baltimore City had their great fire, and it was a coal and lumber company, fuel oil company. We moved from there out to Towson, where the Towson Library is.
Owner Ken Knight says the store has a long history.
Stebbins Anderson then came here in the mall in 1973.
But lately,
it's a new world.
Business hasn't been so good.
The internet is so strong. There's so much money behind those companies, and the little guy can't compete with that.
It's a sign of the times and a tough decision for Ken and his customers.
We need some good stores like this around, and now that they're all closing, we have less and less.
But while Stebbins Anderson has been a lot of places.
We'll see you later.
It's been great.
And sold a lot of things.
167.63.
There's one thing.
The personal touch.
Stebbins Anderson has always been that way.
That never changed.
I like to be waited on when I go to a store, and they've always been that way here.
Easy to do business with. It's always been family owned.
Not going to be anymore, I guess. 152
years.
The last of that era.
Maxine Streicher, Fox 45 News.
You don't even want to come no more,
Overgrown.
It shouldn't even look like this.
And seemingly forgotten.
This is just ridiculous.
Mount Auburn Cemetery sits tucked away in southwest Baltimore.
And every time I come out here, I get so disappointed.
Home to late boxing champions and civil rights activists, the historic African American cemetery looks more like a field than a place of rest.
So this is my grandmother, Marion McCormick, and my grandfather is somewhere up that way.
Today, Tamara Johnson knows exactly where her grandmother, Marianne McCormick, is buried.
She died really young in a car accident. I think my mother was about 5 years old when she passed. She was 25.
But on her last visit, Tamira and her mother couldn't find her.
When we pulled into the cemetery and we saw how overgrown everything was, I still said, let's walk through and let's try to find them.
So as we started, because we was all the way out in the middle, back there looking for her, I started looking on the ground, and I saw this brown stone. I'm like, Tamara, I found her. She like, for real? And she was there all the time.
Hidden beneath the overgrown grass and weeds, McCormick's grave, like most in the cemetery, are in desperate need of some TLC.
Because I always said if I had enough money, I would dig them up and just take them somewhere else. You know, that's how disgusting this place is, you know.
Now,
my goal is just to start small. If we can just work our way from the back up.
Tamira is on a mission, gathering volunteers and supplies.
Eventually get it cleaned up before the winter comes.
To bring life back to the cemetery.
My end goal will be to get the entire cemetery the way it should look.
And peace back to her grandmother's grave.
She was sweet. She loved all her kids. One step at a time.